It was a Sunday. I was heading to a wedding hall at the end of the subway line. My subordinate's wedding reception was being held there. I used to drive to work, but it had been a long time since I last rode the subway. In particular, it had been 20 years since I last rode this line. The train stopped at S station. At that moment, my eyes met with a young woman who had gotten on. I was taken aback. She looked just like my wife when she was young. Of course, it was a case of mistaken identity, but a memory that I thought I had forgotten came back to my mind. 20 years ago, I was a student at K University. S station was where I always met my girlfriend. My weekly routine was to pick up my girlfriend, who worked at a trading company in the station building, at 5 p.m. on Fridays. 5 minutes until 5 o'clock. It was about time for her to show up. Just as I was thinking that, it wasn't her who appeared before me, but a middle-aged gentleman in a white suit. "I'm here on an errand for your father," he said. I was shocked. That's because my father died when I was a child, and I only remember his face from a photo. "Don't joke. My father. This is a message from your father." "I don't really know, but let's hear it. Are you going to break up with her? Or will you choose someone who will leave their mark in history?" What a sudden question. I'm still a student. Which one will you choose? I don't really know. If I choose someone who will leave their mark in history, will I really have a glorious life? That's what my father wants. I thought about it for a bit, but I couldn't imagine a life without her. So I said firmly, I'll choose a life with her. The gentleman smiled a little when he said that. I understand. And before I knew it, he had vanished. I looked around wondering where he had gone, and she stood there. "Sorry to keep you waiting," she said, smiling. 2 years later, I got a job and started a family with her. Now I have 2 sons, a high school student and a middle school student. And we live a happy, ordinary life. However, what frustrates me is that Koichi, a graduate of K University, who is supposed to be an elite, has almost completely dropped out of the race for promotion. In fact, I have a younger brother who is 1 year younger than me, and was adopted by my uncle. He also graduated from K University and joined this company a year after me. But he has achieved incredible success, being elected to the Diet 15 years ago, and having already served as a minister several times. Now, the train began to gradually slow down as it approached the terminus. I got up from my seat and stood in front of the door, and was surprised to see my face reflected in the glass door. He looked exactly like the gentleman I was 20 years ago.